This
your
conference
history is
will
much
now be
better.
recorded.
So I'm looking forward to see how I transition to automation testing.
Okay, so you are kind of beginner in automation testing, right, Geoffrey?
Yes. So and I've been jumping around different like all over. So I love it that you've been in that. Uh, I don't know, but some sort of like you sort of found your way. So maybe
Uh-huh.
to help you just make find a correct path to how to transition from manual testing to automation testing.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So
So, okay.
so
And how was yesterday's session for you? If you can just share quickly. So I would like to hear from you.
it
Any key takeaways?
it was very good. Was very good, and that's why.
Can you please bring your microphone near your mouth because your voice is not very clear somehow.
Because I'm in a train, so it's moving very fast. So that's the reason why.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So I cannot
right.
talk well. I'm not on the train. Yes.
No worries. But thank you so much, Geoffrey, for sharing your feedback actually. Now I see Ashwini. So, okay, we'll start from Ashwini. Hi, Ashwini, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So please share. So any key takeaways from yesterday, or like how was yesterday's session for you? I would like to hear from you.
yeah, nice. I got the info from basics and
Okay.
curriculum you shared for the entire sessions, normal, intermediates, and advanced levels. So it's
Okay.
okay for me. So
Okay.
we got an idea about what we are learning in next levels. So
Okay.
it's a good thing. Then I have a question. When I installed my, can you clear this one? When I installed my Cypress in my own laptop,
Hmm.
when I enter the three commands and Cypress init hyphen y, it's for then Cypress installation, then open, then it's not installing my Cypress one. Like we
Okay.
from when I entered my VS Code, all
Hmm.
these three commands, I
Hmm.
need to I need to launch the Cypress directly. But in my computer, Cypress is not launching. First time I did two times. Now
Hmm.
it's not coming to Cypress, not launching. So what should I do now?
Okay, just a sec. What I'll do is like I'll share my screen and I'll tell you quickly what are the steps. I guess you might have maybe forgotten
Okay.
a couple of steps.
Share the screen, then I will follow.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and thank you so much, guys, for sharing your feedback. So it really means the world to me. So see, I'll be very open and honest with you. I don't want to keep it like a very boring kind of lectures where I'm just talking and talking and you are just listening. Right. I really want to keep it very much interactive so that you can get to know your trainer more. And I would like to get to know my students. And I don't want you to just treat me as a trainer. I really want you to consider me as a friend and a guide who's there to help you and guide you. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So recording is already started.
Okay.
So, yeah, just a sec. So, yeah, I've shared my screen. And meanwhile, please, everyone, like just mute yourself so that nobody gets disturbed. Right. So, is my screen visible? Can someone please confirm? Hello.
Visible.
Okay.
Visible, sir.
Okay. Perfect. So, yeah. So this is the yesterday's one. What I'll do is, okay. So steps. So the very first step is create a folder anywhere on your machine. Okay. So this is the step number one. Step number two is open that folder inside your VS Code. And how do you do that? I'll show you very quickly again. So simply open your VS Code. Okay, I'll just quit. It's not opening. Just a sec. Hmm. Not sure why VS Code is not launching. Just a sec. Anyways, so I'll share the steps first. So what we need to do is, firstly, we create a blank folder anywhere on our machine. And then the second step is we open this folder inside our VS Code. And how do we do that? Simply go to File, Open Folder, navigate to the path where you have created this folder here, right? And simply open this folder on your machine, right? And by default, it will be a blank folder. You will see nothing, right? And then what you do is open terminal inside VS Code. Okay. And then what we do is, after opening the terminal, we type this command npm init -y. So what this command will do is, this command, it will create a file called as package.json, which is the starting point. And in your case, suppose if you're already working in an organization, right? So everything will already be there. All you have to do is simply clone this particular repository, maybe from Bitbucket or maybe GitHub or wherever this repository is hosted, right? Inside the organization. So these steps are required when you're doing it for the very first time. But in your organization, these steps are already being done. You don't have to do it all over again. Okay. So after your package.json is created, what you have to do is simply run this command. So this is the first command that you need to run, which is npm space init space -y. Second command that you need to run is npm space install space whatever dependency you want to install. So this is the standard command, npm space install followed space any dependency. In our case, what is the dependency? It is Cypress. So what we'll do is npm space install space Cypress and simply hit enter. It might take maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then Cypress dependency will be shown in package.json as I showed you yesterday. Okay, so this will install Cypress inside your local machine, and you'll also see a folder called as node modules. It will create a folder node modules inside your machine. Okay, right. And then what you need to do is, to open the Cypress, you have to do this, run this command npx space Cypress space open. Now coming to Ashwini. So Ashwini, did you follow all these steps as I've shown you? Hello, Ashwini, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm followed.
Yeah. So did you follow all these steps exactly like how I've shown you, or how's it?
Yeah, exactly. I followed.
Okay. So what is the issue that you are facing?
Cypress is not launching. Cypress, we need to see the Cypress launch when all the completion of 3 commands. I'm not getting the Cypress launch.
So what exactly is the error actually? We'll take quickly 5 minutes and then we'll start with our training actually. Or what you can do is you can quickly share your screen. So I think you have the control, right? So yeah, please share your screen so that it'll also help everybody whosoever has not installed VS Code. Yeah.
I will connect to my laptop. Then I don't tell me how to share the screen. Then I will connect.
Yeah. At the bottom, you'll see an option.
Okay. I just connected to the laptop. Then
or what we'll do is okay, so we can probably do this at the end of the class, and we can start this training.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
Fair enough.
Okay. No problem.
Okay, right. So guys, we'll start with our training then. Okay. Any questions so far? Anything you like to ask me?
Hey Ashmit, this is Reena. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Reena, I can hear you. Yeah, please go on.
So I didn't install anything. I was not expecting that we are going to have class just from today. I was thinking we might have class after a week or 2-3 days when everything says. So I have not installed anything. So what do you want to do right now? Either otherwise I will be behind.
Yeah. Okay, so what I would suggest is I have written all those steps. So what I'll also do is I'll copy all these steps and I'll post in the same meeting chat so that it'll be easier for you guys. Right, where's the chat? Yeah. Okay, I've shared a message inside the GoToMeeting chat actually. So now you have all these steps. Please copy these steps or maybe take a screenshot, right? And after this class or maybe during this class, you can just follow all these steps and it'll open Cypress. But for now, You don't have to worry about Cypress because initially we are going to start with JavaScript, which is the basics actually, or I would say the foundation. Right. Cypress will move on after a while, after we are done with basics and advanced of JavaScript.
Okay, so do I need to download something with the JavaScript because I'm having only JDK?
So, Reena, in your case, you need to install Node.js first. So, were you there in the yesterday's class?
Yes.
Okay, so if you'll follow the yesterday's class, I have actually mentioned that these are the couple of steps that we need to follow. The first step is install Node.js because in order to run Java, we need Java runtime environment, which is called JRE,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In order to run any kind of JavaScript code outside the browser, we need
Mhm.
something called as Node.js.
Okay.
Yes, Node.js is like an environment similar to JRE for Java. Getting me?
Okay. So what should be the version? The latest version, and is
Latest
there
version.
any
Always follow
latest?
the Node.js LTS version. I'll type it for you. Node.js LTS version. And all you have to do is simply go to Google, type Node.js download. That's it. And simply follow all the steps that it shows you. Whether you're on Windows or whether you're on Mac, doesn't really matter.
Should it
Okay.
match with the Chrome
No,
also?
no, it has nothing to do with your Chrome actually. It is completely separate.
Okay.
Yes. And guys, yeah, if you still have any doubts, that WhatsApp group is always available. Feel free to post all your queries there. And don't worry, right? I'll be responding to your query as soon as possible. Okay? Yeah. And firstly, what you all have to do is install Node.js and install VS Code. Again, how to install VS Code? It is very, very simple. Simply go to Google, type VS Code download, whether it is Windows or Mac, and follow the relevant steps. And you will be able to install VS Code. That's it. Okay. So I'll share my screen again. Not sure what went wrong with my VS Code earlier. Okay, so are you guys able to see my screen? Hello? Can someone please confirm? Hello, hello.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. Hmm. Right. So what are we going to do today? We are going to talk about primitive types. Right. So yesterday I was talking about some types. So here, what I'll do is inside my same Cypress folder, what I'll do is I'll create. So this is the first button. So this first button is going to create a new file in case I'm interested in creating a new file. So second button is there, which is actually going to create a new folder. Okay. So I'll click on this new folder and here I'm going to type, let's say JavaScript, JS code. And all my code is going to be inside this JavaScript folder as a good convention. Otherwise, I can create one simple giant file with all my code. It becomes very hard to read. So it is always better to organize your stuff. Okay, so first thing is, let's say we are going to talk about let's model data. Let's say type it 3 hyphen, and all the JavaScript files should end with a .js. See, this is a JavaScript file and JS icon is shown, and if you see at the bottom, it also shows this is a JavaScript file. Okay, and yeah, I'll be showing you one extension pretty quickly. Every one of you should have this particular extension. Simply click on this icon, which is this extensions. Simply type here and simply type Code Runner by June Han. This is an extension which is a pretty handy extension. So the moment you install it, in my case, I've already installed it. That is why I'm seeing this option uninstall. All right. In your case, it will be install if you have not installed it earlier. So the moment you install it, you'll see this play icon. I hope you can see it, which is a very handy plugin. So after typing my JavaScript code, I don't have to go inside the terminal and I don't have to type node space whatever command, right? I'll simply click on this play button and it's simply going to execute all my JavaScript code, which is going to be a very handy feature. Okay, right. So we'll start. So first, we're going to talk about some primitive types in JavaScript. Any idea what are types in JavaScript? I just touched upon them yesterday. Anyone who can just help me recollect? I talked about some 7 data types. Can someone please share them quickly? Whosoever remembers. And yeah, repetition is the mother of all learning. So it is okay to repeat. That is how we all learn. Yeah,
It's numbers, Boolean, and
very well. Number Boolean. Anyone else?
String.
String. Very well. Perfect. There are two more. Null and undefined. So these are the most commonly used data types in JavaScript. And I also mentioned yesterday, technically there are two more, which is symbol and begin. And why my code is in green? Because I'm using comments. So JavaScript compiler will simply ignore this. Why? Because this is just for my reference. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting, and since I'm on Mac, I'm doing command and /. In case if you are on Windows, simply do control and /. And this is going to turn your entire code into a comment. Okay. So firstly, we'll start with Boolean. Okay. So what is Boolean? Boolean is simply true and false values. In simple words, if I ask you something, right? So is it a Monday? You can only answer in yes or no. So basically, what are these values? They are Boolean values, which can only be answered in true and false. Okay. So this is called as Boolean. For example, I can ask you like whether there's a cricket match going on today. So I can ask you, is the cricket match still going on? You can only answer in two. You can simply say yes, or you can simply say no, or true or false, right? So this is called as Boolean, right? We can also say yes or no, or maybe 1 or 0. I hope this is clear. Any doubts so far? So what is the meaning of Boolean in simple words? It is a way to represent our data. That's it. Okay. And now, very, very important concept in JavaScript, which is variables can change data type. So I'll tell you. So there are three ways of creating variables in JavaScript, which is using let, const, and var. So these are the three ways: let, const, and var. And yeah, one thing, we should never use var. It is like you can say a legacy data type in JavaScript. Sorry, not a data type. This is how we can actually create variables, right? Ideally, we should never use var, and I'll be coming to this later on why we should not use var. But for now, just remember that we create variables only using these two, which is either using let and second is const. I'll tell you what is let and what is const. So suppose I want to create a variable. I can do something like this. Let say num donuts. Let's say I'm very much interested in eating donuts, right? And I, let's say, bought 5 donuts for my family. So I can do something like this. Let num donuts equal to 5. And if you're coming from Java, then you might be remembering this semicolon. So using a semicolon is mandatory in Java, but when we talk about JavaScript, it is not at all mandatory. So it is completely optional. Okay. And yeah, this particular part is mandatory. I cannot just write num donuts equal to 5. This is not Python. This is JavaScript. I have to do something like this. Let. In the case of Java, I would have to do something like this. Int, which is there in Java, but not in JavaScript. That is why I'm getting this red squiggly line. So here I'll use let num donuts equal to 5. What it signifies? It's simply a number, which is this one. Yeah. If you
Let
see,
is equal to integer, right?
yes, it is similar to integer in Java.
Okay.
Right. And this is how we close the terminal and reopen again. If you see my mouse, right, this bottom here, I can simply open the terminal from here. I can simply close it. I don't have to go to terminal and new terminal from here. Okay. Right. So let num donuts equal to 5. It's the number. Right. Next, what I can do is I can change this value to any other value. For example, I can do something like this. What I just did now, I inserted a Boolean value this time into my same variable. This is not possible in Java. Why? Because we'll do something like this. Int num donuts. Now I can only store integer values in this variable. But the moment I'm trying to store a non-integer value in Java, Java compiler is going to throw an error. But since it is not Java, this is JavaScript. It is kind of little loose, or we can say not very strict as compared to Java. So it is very easy to change the value of variables. So technically we can do, ideally we should not do. So I'll write this is possible in JavaScript, but ideally we should not do. If we really want to store a Boolean value, ideally we should create a separate variable for this. So it is okay to create two variables, but this particular kind of thing will create a lot of confusion. These are, at this moment, we see there are only 2 lines of code, but if there are hundreds and thousands of lines of code, then it becomes really messy. So ideally we should never do something like this. So what I'm trying to say is variables can change their types, but ideally we should not do this. Okay. Next, again, if I really want, I can do something like this. Num donuts equal to, let's say, I'm just using some random numbers, and this time I'm not using semicolon. So semicolon usage is completely optional, as I told you. And again, I'm storing an integer value again, which is kind of weird that is as initially stored a number here, then I change this value to boolean, and then again I'm storing a number here. Ideally will not do this, but this is possible. Okay, so this is fine. And next we'll talk about strings. Okay, any idea what are strings? Anyone who can just tell me quickly? What are strings?
String is a set of character basically.
Okay, right. It is a set of characters, right? We can basically say strings are pieces of text or strings of characters, as you rightly mentioned, and we wrap them in quotes. When I say quotes, we can use either single quote, which is this one. We can either use double quote like this. There is also something called as backtick. Can somebody please tell me what is backtick? This is actually a key present right inside your keyboard. Whether you're using a Windows machine or a Mac machine, you all have this backtick key. Quick quiz for you guys. Anyone who is aware of this backtick key on your keyboard? Can anyone tell me? I wish I would really, I can give you guys prize for telling me this. Because initially when I started JavaScript, I was not sure of this backtick key initially. Anyone who can tell me? No? Okay. So backtick key is right below the escape key. This one. So this key is present on the left of one. So if I simply type this looks like a quote, but it is slightly, you can say, indented, or you can say with a slight angle actually. So this is like a backtick. So this is how we can use strings. Okay, I can show you a couple of examples. So let's first name equal to, I'll simply type my name, which is Piyush, and then I can create another string. Let's say message equal to, please, this is my class. So this is another string that I have created. So far I have created two separate string variables. They both of them are completely isolated and independent of each other. Okay, so how I have created the strings using double quotes. Now I'll show you how we can create a string in single quotes. So I can simply do let animal equal to, instead of double quote, simply use a single quote. Okay, for example, sorry, octopus may not be an animal, I guess it's something marine, whatever, but we can still create a string using single quote. So it is possible. Okay, and then I can do something like this, let bad string. I cannot do something like this. I'll start with single quote and ending with double quote. This is not possible. So if I type, let's say, okay, I'll type Ashwini. So JavaScript is showing me this error. How am I supposed to know if it is an error? Because of this red squiggly line. I started with single quote, so I should ideally end with single quote. Or if I start with double quote, ideally I should end with a double quote. Okay, so this is how we create. So this is not possible, so I'll simply comment it out. I can also do something like this. Let str. So and I hope you must have seen this, or maybe you might have noticed it. I'm using a meaningful name. You can use a very bad name like str. Nobody's stopping you, but ideally just looking at the string, it is not clearly telling you what kind of variable it is. So ideally you should name the variable as a meaningful name, so that anybody who sees this code, maybe even you, if you are looking at this code, maybe after 1 or 2 months down the line, you yourself will not remember why you created this variable for. Okay, so it is always recommended to create a meaningful variable name. Okay, so I can do something like this. Now I'm simply pressing this backtick key. Okay, I can simply type my full name, let's say, which is Piyush space Gupta, and it is not giving me any error. Okay, now I'm not printing here anything, so I can I'm not going to get any output. But because of this button that I see, because of that extension by CodeRunner by Junhan, I can simply click on this run button. I get this output. But since you see output is completely blank, why? Because I'm not printing anything. In Java, we do something like system.out.println, right? In JavaScript, we usually use console.log. At this moment, I have not used any console.log or something. That is why I'm not getting any output. But let's say if you are interested in printing out the value of any variable to the console. So this is the console here. This is your terminal. I can simply type, let's say, str. That's it. Now I can simply clear my console from here. You see this? I click on this clear output button. I click on this and I get this output. Why? Because I'm using this console.log. And just remember, this console is in small, L again is in small. So basically all the method names that you see in JavaScript, they are all in lowercase. Any questions so far? Simple, difficult? How's it? How are you guys feeling now?
What is the, excuse me, can you explain what is the purpose of console.log?
Yeah, so the purpose of console.log is actually to type something into the output, because here you know the value of str is this, but let's say you want to print it out in the output, which is here. That is why you'll use console.log. It's as simple as that. Now let's say if you're
We need to
interested in,
enter this in VS Code only, then
yes,
just run.
just run, exactly. Or what you can do is, okay, I'll show you here also. Let's say I open, say, google.com. Okay, I click on inspect. I go to console here. I click on this button to clear my console. I can even type console.log here. If you remember, I told you yesterday, right? I can execute any JavaScript code even without having Node.js even on my machine. Why? Because it has nothing to do with Node.js. This is basically a separate execution environment which is managed by your Chrome browser. So I can type, let's say, console.log. I'll type like this. I get the output as 12. See? So console.log is basically to print something into the output, maybe for debugging, or you'll actually get to know in more details actually why it is actually used. But for now, just understand that using console.log, we can print the value of any variable to the console. Why? For logging and debugging purposes. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, guys, like feel free to ask me any questions. I'm really appreciating that you guys are asking me. Right. Okay.
So
So
one more question. May I
yeah,
know
please.
about what is the whiteboard? What is the purpose?
Sorry. Please come again.
What is the whiteboard? We need to use the whiteboard in executions. What is the
White,
purpose of whiteboard?
whiteboard.
Whiteboard in Cypress. We can use whiteboard in Cypress or no need.
Which whiteboard you're talking about? I'm not really understanding.
So we need to we have any purpose using of whiteboard in Cypress.
No, no. Are you talking about this whiteboard?
Whiteboard, yeah, this one.
No,
This
no,
one.
no. This is just like a,
This
okay.
for you explanation only.
Yeah, this is just for explanation. Technically, you guys are all, located thousands of kilometers away from me. If you are all, suppose sitting in my drawing room, actually, I would have actually had a physical whiteboard wherein I was typing something. So this is just like a simulation of the real whiteboard, just for you guys. It is like a
Okay,
digital whiteboard.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Continue.
So this is about console.log. Next, we have something called as type of operator. And yeah, I would really appreciate, guys, that whatever I'm teaching you, right? Sometimes I may speed up a little, or maybe sometimes I may have a little less speed. But still, I would suggest always sit down with a piece of pen and paper, or if you're a technical guy, maybe have your write down notes somewhere in your Google Drive or something, which will always be very handy for you. So always you should have your notes handy. So we have something called as a type of operator. So type of operator, what does it do? It simply tells me the type of a variable. Now, I know that str variable contains this name Piyush Gupta, but I still want to know what is the type of this variable. What I can simply do. Now, you were asking me, right? What is the purpose of console.log? This is going to tell me. So if I do something like this, I don't have to use it here. I can show you right here itself. Sorry, here. I'll go to Google. Yeah. I'll type space off. You see, I don't even have to type the full method name, right? So this is actually an operator. This is not a method. Since this is not a method, I don't need this. I'll need these parentheses only when I'm executing a method. Since it is an operator, I don't need this. So I'll simply type of space 87. So this 87 is a number or string? Can you please tell me? Any idea?
string because you have written in the inverted code.
Exactly. So if it have written 87 without these double quotes, then it would have been a number. Okay. So I'll simply type enter. I get this output as string, and I told you yesterday, this arrow which is pointing left is the output, and the arrow pointing right is the value that I have typed. Sorry, not the value, basically the code that I have typed. Now, if I type something like this, type of space 10. Now, this is without the double quotes. That is why it is giving output as number. And yeah, one thing to notice is the output is actually a string. Why? Because it is showing in single quotes. So the output is a data type. Where is it? Yeah. So it's the same data type what I was showing you here, but it shows in small case and that too inside a string. So it is like a string data type. Okay. So this is about type of operator. So it is all in lowercase. Okay. And yeah, we can even use quotes inside the quotes. So what does it mean? Suppose I will give you a simple example. Suppose let's say I want to do something like this. I'll click on here. Yeah, and why I'm switching back from VS Code to browser? Simply because I just want to just execute the code, right? I don't want to save this code. If I really want to save my code, then it makes sense to type here. But if I just want to execute something, right, then I don't need to save it. I can simply go with my browser console. So I can simply type, let's say, I'll start with single quote and I'll type, let's say, he said hello. Okay. And then what I can also do is I'll wrap this hello inside the double quotes. But now, since I started with single quotes, doesn't matter whether even if I have double quotes inside the middle, I can simply end with a single quote, and I don't get any error actually. So always remember that if I'm starting with single quote, I should end with single quote, and I can do the reverse. I'll start with double quote now and see. Since I'm ending with single quote, that is why it is giving this error. So I'll have to do this, and here I'll change hello to this. This is also fine. So what I'm trying to say is inside single quote, we can use double quote, and inside double quote, we can use single quote. That is also possible. Okay. But we cannot use double quote inside double quote or single quote inside single quote. For example, he said, hello, like this. This is not going to work. Why? Because the moment it sees the first single quote, it will treat it as if your string has terminated. So JavaScript will get confused. What is this then? Because the string is already terminated because of the single quote, right? So we should never use single quote inside single quote or double quote inside double quote. Okay, I hope this is clear. Fine.
Why you're using two-time quotes? We use it for the array in the Java, right? If we are writing anything in the array list, why you're
No,
using two-time quotes?
no, I was just demonstrating to you that this is possible.
Okay.
Yes. Suppose, in some languages, maybe we really want to put more stress on a particular word. That is why we like to do like something like this. We just want to put, that a particular word inside double quotes. It is not really something that you really want to do, but it's totally up to you. Okay.
Okay.
But this is not possible, as I was just explaining. Okay. Now, there is something called as concatenation. So if I try to add a string with a number, any idea what should happen? Anyone? It is called concatenation. Concatenation is, in simple words, we call it joining. So if I do something like this, again, I'll go back to my Arc browser. I click on clear. I'll click clear here. Right. Now, suppose if I do like this is my string, say, and inside double quotes, and I'll try to add a number. So what is going to happen? This number will be converted to string initially because JavaScript will try to see, can I really add one to this? But this is not a number, right? So what is going to happen? JavaScript will actually convert this number to a string. And since this is also string, right, left hand side is string, right hand side is also string. So this plus operator will not act like a addition operator in JavaScript. It is going to act like a concatenation operator. And if you see, we get this output high as well. Okay, so it will be a little difficult to understand with this. Let me do this. Yeah, now it will make more sense. So this 2 gets converted to a stringify 2, and this high will be joined with 2, or we call it concatenation or string joining, and this is the final output. Okay, and then we have something called as indexing. So it is there in Java, it is also there in JavaScript. So we say that strings are indexed in JavaScript. Okay, so what is the meaning of index? It's very, very simple. So let's say I have a word called as chicken. Sorry if somebody is vegetarian, but I'm still using this name. So this word C has an index 0. Okay, okay, let me just yeah. So this word C has an index 0. This word H has an index 1. I has an index 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And notice that index always starts with 0. It never starts with 1. So for people who are new to coding or beginners in automation, they might find it little weird why it's not starting with 1. Sorry, the answer is like I have not designed this language. So this is how it is designed, and we have to just follow the rules. So this is one of the rules, that strings are indexed and we have to follow the indexing. So if I want to, let's say, what is the meaning of index basically? If I'm interested in finding out what is the value or a particular character at index number 2, the answer is I. What is the character present at index number 5? It is E. What is the character that is present at index number 6? It is N. Okay, so each character has a corresponding index, or we can say a positional number. Okay, and every string has a property called length. It is something which is extremely important. Okay, for example, I'll show you here. I click on this. I'll create a string, let's say my name. Now if I do something like this, it is a property, it is not a method, so I'll not use this. I'll simply use it this. So how many letters I have in my name? 1 2 3 4 5 6. That is why length is giving me the output as 6. Okay, so it is a very, very handy method. So we should be very well clear with this particular method, that if I'm interested in finding out the length of a particular string, I'll do str.length. It can be any string. Okay, so, and yeah, spacing doesn't if I'll have a space in my name, for example, Piyush space Gupta, this is my full name. If I do dot length, it is going to include this space also as one of the characters. So Piyush is 6, this is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I get the output as 12. Okay, so spaces do matter. Okay, and then let's say if I do something like this, let song equal to uh, I'm creating a variable called as song using this let keyword, and I'm storing, let's say, Titanic. Okay, so now if I do something like this, song dot length. Initially, I was using a hard-coded string, but here I have stored this string inside a variable, and I'm using this variable, I'm calling this length property. Okay, and then it is going to give me the output as 7. Why? Because this particular string has how many characters? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Total 7 characters. That is why I get the output as 7. Now, some of you might have heard this thing that strings are immutable, and it is very common in Java, and this is also there in JavaScript also. Can somebody tell me what is the meaning of strings are immutable in JavaScript? Anyone who can tell me?
Because string is storing in the pool, so you cannot change it. It is thread safe and asynchronized. If it is like storing in the stake memory, you can mute like the Java buffer or Java builder like that.
Okay, right. So typical answer coming from somebody who is very good with Java. But this answer is not really applicable in JavaScript. So this is because Java and JavaScript are somewhat similar, but here the concept of immutability is little different here. Okay, so before I come to that, I can show you something like this. So if I do something like this, song. Now I told you strings are indexed. So if let's say I'm interested in printing out only a particular character from this entire string, let's say I'm interested in printing out this T, I can do something like this, song of 0. It will give me T. Now I'm interested in, let's say, using, I want to print this character which is T. So what will I do? I'll do song. How many characters it has? 7. So last character will have index 7 minus 1. Why? Because index is starting from 0. So this is 0, and this is not 7, it is 6. So I'll do something like this. Song of 6 is going to give me the output as C. Okay. And in simple words, we can do something like this. To find out the last character, this is what we do. str.length -1. Okay. str.length -1. What does it mean? So if my string is song, I'll type song. What is song dot length? Here I hard-coded this value as 6, right? Here I'll do song.length and then -1. What is the value of song.length? It is 7. 7 minus 1 is 6. And song of 6 is what? C. So again, I get the same output. But this is definitely better than doing this. Why? Because this is completely hard coding, and in automation, we should always avoid hard coding values. Okay. So this is how we do. Okay. Now, if I try to do something like this, song of 0 equal to, what is the value of song of 0? It is t here, right? So now if I try to change the value from, let's say, t to z, for example, let me do it capital Z. Suppose if I try to print song now, what should I get? It should be Titanic or it should be Titanic. See, I get the same output again. It didn't change the value. Can someone please tell me why? Anyone? Or should I pick some of you guys? Okay, I see one name in front of me, Upendra. Yeah, Upendra, can you please unmute yourself? Hello, can you hear me? Yes, Upendra, can you please tell me like what just happened?
It's not recognizing the character. Maybe it will be you have defined the string assigning to the integer. That's what it's not showing.
Okay, so the thing what just happened, Upendra, is like the value of song is Titanic, and what I did was I changed this value from T to Z. So, and I expect that if I print this value of this variable again, I should get the output as Titanic, but it is not. Why? Because strings are immutable, as I told you. I
Okay.
cannot change the value of my string. It is not going to give me an error even if I do something like this, which is this. It is not going to give me an error, but this code is, the meaning of this code is like nothing is actually happening as such. Why? Because strings are immutable in JavaScript. It means
Okay.
I cannot change the value. Okay, so this is the meaning of immutability. And then let us move on to string methods. So there are some couple of string methods, and that is extremely important. And always remember, how do we use the method or a function? Yeah, so method and function is one and the same thing here. So how do we use it? We can say this is the syntax. Whatever is my string name, I'm for generic purpose, I'm using str. So let's say my string is str. I'll do something like this. Some method name followed by these parentheses. This is how I'm going to execute any of the string function. Okay, right. So let's say I'm interested in changing the case of my string to an uppercase. For example, I have a value. Let me create a variable called msg, and I have this value to row counter. So this is the value of this variable called msg. Okay. Now I'm interested in changing the case from lowercase to uppercase. So what shall I do? I'll simply do msg. So what is the syntax I told you? str. What is my string here? It is currently msg, which is the variable name. So basically it is a string variable name that you will use, followed by dot, followed by method name. So what you'll do, simply type msg dot. The moment you'll type dot, you'll see a list of all this. It is actually very handy utility provided by your browser. And now I'm interested in changing it to uppercase. So I'll simply type 2, and then you'll see something like this, 2 uppercase. But the challenge is it is not showing you these parentheses. You have to type these parentheses yourself. And the moment I type it, I have not pressed enter. That is why you see I get the output as slightly grayed out. But if I'll hit enter, it will not be grayed out. It is proper red. Okay. And yeah, you must be wondering, I just told you 1 minute back that strings are immutable, but now I just changed it. So what really happened? So what just happened is it is basically I have not changed the original string. That string is still there, but I have just generated a new string, which is a capitalized version of my original string. That string is there. This string is also there, but since I'm not storing it inside a variable, it is actually getting lost. And if I still type MSG, see, I get this output as lowercase value only because I'm not storing this value. Something like this, MSG equal to MSG dot to uppercase. Now, if I see MSG now, the value of this is changed now. So my original string, this lowercase string is actually lost. So the point is strings are immutable. I cannot change this string, but of course, using this string, I can create a brand new string. But if I really want to use it later on, I have to store it in a variable like this. So how do we store something into a variable? Using this equal to operator. I hope everyone is pretty clear. Okay. Right. And always remember that make sure to use parentheses. Without parentheses, we cannot execute any method. So if I type something like this, MSG dot to uppercase, and I simply hit enter without passing these parentheses. Let's see. So what is this happening? JavaScript is telling me that it is aware that, okay, so you're using this to uppercase method, but since you're not using these parentheses actually, so I'm simply showing you that this is a function that I recognize, but I'm not executing it. Why? Because you're not using the parentheses. So if I really want to execute any method in JavaScript, whether it's to uppercase or any other method, I have to use these parentheses. Okay. And this is how it does. And yeah, there is another method called as trim. So as per the name itself, it simply removes any leading space on the left hand side of the string as well as on the right hand side of the string. So for example, if I have a string something like this, I'll use couple of spaces and I'll type use h followed by one or two spaces here. And then I'm using this dot. The moment I type dot, I see all these options. And then I'll simply type trim followed by these parentheses. Did you see? This space is removed in the output. This left space is removed, but the middle space is not removed. So it only removes the left spaces and as well as the right spaces. But if there is any space in the middle of the string, that particular uh, space is not removed. And yeah, you'll have to keep on practicing all these methods, guys. Otherwise, I'll jump on from one you can say concept to another concept. But if you'll not practice it, you'll forget each and everything. And how and why do I remember all of this? Because I've been training all these concepts to so many different tools again and again and again. So in simple words, I've actually it's like a for me, it's like a second nature for me now. I don't forget it. Why? Because I keep on revising. Even when I'm teaching you guys, it is kind of a revision for me, right? But in your case, who was completely new, just attending videos or sitting down and feeling good that wow, I'm learning such a good stuff, it is not going to help you. You have to practice. You have to type the code yourself. Make some mistakes. You'll do some silly blunders. Don't worry. If you make some silly mistakes, simply drop me a WhatsApp. Put your query in that WhatsApp group, right? And that is how we all learn. Because nobody is here to judge each other. We all are beginners and we all are learning. Okay. So this is how we use trim method. And yeah, one very cool concept in JavaScript is we can change the methods together. What is the meaning of method chaining? I can show you very simply. So let's say I'll clear it out. I create a variable called as color. Let color equal to purple. I'll use a space. I'll do purple here. Okay. Now, if I type color, it is going to remember this initial space, which is this one. Now I do something like this. I do color dot trim. So if you see here, this trim method, what it does, it removes left hand space and right hand side space. But since there is no space on the right hand side, it is going to ignore it and simply I'm going to remove this space from here. And I get the output as purple. Now, what I need to do is now, I can chain another method after trim. So I can do something like this. Color dot trim dot I'll type to uppercase. This is called as method chaining. Means I can chain one method followed by another JavaScript method, and I'm not going to get any error. So what is happening is, firstly, this trim method is going to act upon this color variable, and it is going to remove all the spaces from left and right, and the final output is purple without any space. And then I'm using this to uppercase method on this purple string without any space, and so I'm getting this output as purple. But if I want to save it, I have to do something like this: color equal to, or maybe color1 equal to, and I have to use like this. If I'm using the same variable, I don't need let or a const. But if I'm interested in storing this new value into another new variable, I have to use this let. Okay, and like this. And if I type color1, I get the output as purple. And color is, oops, sorry. If I type color, I get the output as purple. And if I type color1, I get the output as capitalized purple. So this is the meaning of chaining the methods together. And there are a couple of JavaScript methods, again, that you guys should know. You don't have to memorize all of this, but with regular practice, you'll automatically remember all of these methods. So one is index of. What it does is, it simply tells us where in a string a given string occurs. For example, I go back to my Chrome again. Yeah, so let's say I type, let TV show. I'll type So this is the value, which is string of cat, which I'm storing this variable called as TV show. Now I do something like this: TV show dot index of. Okay, I'll do like this. I'll do dot. It's not showing me here because I have not pressed enter here. Now I'll do like this: TV show dot. I'll get this. So if I do something like this, index of. And yeah, this is called as lower camel casing. So in JavaScript, if you see a method which contains two words, right? So trim has one word, right? So that is why there is no capitalized word. But index of is actually two words joined together. So the second word always starts with the capitalized word, which is off. So it is not mandatory, but it is a good naming convention. So this is an inbuilt method in JavaScript that shows this lower camel casing convention. Lower camel casing means first word starts with the lowercase and all the subsequent words start with the capitalized word. If there was a third word, it would have been a uppercase. So I do something like this: index of, and I have to use these parentheses. Why? Because it is a method. Now I'll write here what is the index of, let's say, CA. Inside this, what does it tell me? Inside this string, which is TV show, what is the index of this CA? And this CA starts as in the 0th character. So that is the meaning of index of. Okay, so if I do something like this, TV show dot index of, I'll do simply cat again, I'll get the same output. So it means if I'm interested in finding what is the index of cat inside this variable, it starts as a 0th index only. Okay, another example: if I do something like this, let's say baseball dot index of, I'm interested in finding inside this string where this string ball is present. Okay, so it gives me the output. Okay, why did I get this error? Can anyone please tell me? Anyone? It's because I'm using this lowercase, because I typed quite fast, so I forgot to use this capitalized O. Okay, so now I'm getting the correct output, which is 4. So what does it mean? Inside this entire string baseball, the index of ball is 4. Okay, so why the index of ball is 4? Because this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So ball starts as the 4th index. Now you must be wondering, where do I really need it? You will not understand it at this particular moment of time, but with little more practice, when I'll give you a couple of more assignments, that is when you will actually realize what is the purpose of all these methods. At this moment, we are working on the foundation. So till the time your foundation is ready, then you can actually go ahead and actually implement all these pieces of puzzle put together. Okay, and then we have something called as method called as slice. And yeah, I'll request all of you to please maybe use Google or maybe ChatGPT or whatever, right? try and understand all these methods. If you still have any doubts, or feel free to ask me, right? But practice all these methods, write the code, get your hands dirty on it. Okay, so what does slice do? It simply slices, like let's say if there's a cake and you want to cut it, so what do you say? We slice down a cake. So it simply cuts a string or slices a string into a smaller string. This is the meaning of slice. Okay, so I can do something like this. Let's say I'll clear it. I'll do something like this. Let str equal to this is a large string. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm interested in cutting down this string to a smaller string. So what will I do? I'll do simply str dot slice, and since it is a method, I have to use these parentheses, and then I have to tell from where I want to cut the string, from here, from here, from here, or wherever, because JavaScript is not sure. It simply asks us. So if it is asking for a starting index and an ending index, so if I'm passing a starting index as 0, it means I'm telling to cut the string from here, and then till where I have to cut it. Suppose if I use 5, it means start from here and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is the output. But
Hello.
class index is not included. Yes,
Hello.
please.
Sorry, sir. Ashwini looks like she got disconnected. Can you add her again?
I'm not sure
Ashwini.
how. No, there's no way I can add actually.
Looks like she is looking for this UK session.
I'm not sure, like
Okay.
if she got disconnected by mistake or something. But never mind. So, anyways, this session is getting recorded, so we'll be sharing this recording with
She
everyone,
can
right?
log on by just using the access code.
Yeah, yeah, Geoffrey, you're saying something?
She can log on by using the access code shared in the group.
Yes, exactly. So you all have, are part of that WhatsApp group. So you all can simply go to that group and simply click on that link provided by Isha Training. Okay. And that is how you all can access. Fine. Okay. So where was I? Yeah. I go back to Google. Yeah. So I was telling that where exactly I want to cut this string. Right. So from 0 to 5. So this starting index is inclusive and this is exclusive, means it is not counted. So this is kind of ignored. So from 0 to 5 again, if you simply start typing 0, 1, 2, this is 3, space is 3, then 4 and 5. But since I said ending index is not inclusive, so it means it is removed. So this is the final output, which is this and I. Here's the output. Okay, starting index is inclusive, ending index is not inclusive. Okay, and if I type something like this str.slice without any arguments, it is simply going to create a copy of string. Why? Because I'm not providing any starting string, I'm not providing any ending string, so it is simply going to create a copy of string, and I get this entire output as this. Or instead of this, I can simply use 0, means cut the string from 0th index, but since I'm not providing any ending index, it is going to assume till the end, and I get the same output. So str of slice without any arguments is the same as using str.slice 0. Now, is this right or this is wrong? Nothing like that. It is totally your personal choice which one you would like to go with. But these methods are extremely important methods and very, very useful in automation testing. So you guys should be very, very clear with these methods. Okay. So this is one. And then we have something called as replace method. Oh, I just forgot that. Okay, time is actually 10. So what we'll do is like we'll end a session here and we'll continue from tomorrow, right? And I've actually prepared some notes for you. So tomorrow, like this is kind of a recap that I've prepared for you guys. So I'll show you tomorrow then, right? But for now, before we end, any questions? Anyone?
Yes, I'm asking.
Yes,
Are
Geoffrey.
there these methods? Are they? Do you have? Are they coming from some libraries or automatically? I mean, do you have some kind of libraries where to access these methods, or when you're
Okay, so these
typing in?
methods are, yeah, so these methods are
How
not
do you
coming
get?
from any external libraries. They are part of JavaScript. So wherever you can use JavaScript, you can use this method without calling any external library. For example, like if you have ever worked with the API testing, right? There are some methods like given, when, then. So these methods are not these. You can use these methods only when you're using REST assured libraries. But these methods, what I just showed you, these methods are not part of any external library. They are inbuilt in JavaScript. So you can use them easily without calling any external library. I hope that answers your question. So you can use these methods right within your Chrome browser, as I've just shown you. You can use these methods inside your VS Code because they all support JavaScript, right? Any other question?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you write your code in I mean, it's what is the IDE here editor? I mean, do you use the terminal output terminal, or you just create a file where you write the code and all that? Because now I can see you're sort of like writing in the online, something like that.
Yes.
So where do you
Okay.
read? Right?
Yeah. So my okay, I think my screen is still visible. So I showed you. See why I was switching from VS Code to here. Why? Because I just wanted to demonstrate to you that it is possible to execute your code right within the browser. But see, the moment I clear the console, my code is gone. I cannot see it again. So that is one limitation of browser. I cannot save my code here. You getting me? But here, whatever I'm saving, this code is actually getting saved in this particular file. And only if I'll delete this file, I'll lose this code. Otherwise, if I'll save my code, I'm not going to lose this file. So that is the purpose of storing the code inside a proper file. Are you getting me? Any further questions?
So we write the code in this file.
Exactly.
Yes,
Why I'm
yes.
writing the code? So that it is easier for me. And I'll recommend all of you guys to store the code not in, I mean, this is just for, you can say, practice purpose. I mean, typing the code here. But for you guys, you should type your code inside VS Code only, here in this JavaScript file. Okay, so that you can save this code. And where is this code saved? Inside this particular file. It is your wish, which name you would like to give it. Okay?
Thank
Anyone?
you.
Yeah. So I see Deepthi, I see Prasanthi, Reena, Kanmani. Anyone who's having any doubts? How was the session for you guys? First session.
Hey, and my question is, when this recording will be shared in the group, or
I'm pretty sure that just like how yesterday's recording was shared in the group, this recording should also be shared in the group. So suppose if it is not shared, I'll ask those coordinators to share the recording with you guys.
thank you.
Yes. So are we good to go? Any questions? Perfect. So we'll end our session for today, and tomorrow we'll again join at 9 p.m. IST. All right. So see you guys. It was great, talking to you, and thank you so much for asking me all of your questions. And looking forward to see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Okay.